It's a pep, boy.
Looked her in her eyes like, tell me, why do you believe in me? If you really down, then would you come and take a seat with me? It's Mr. Bus up in this, cause I don't need no keys. Niggas all around, so best believe my whole team with me. Chain on me, now I need a ring like I'm CP3. They like how you do it back to back, I do it easily. I know how this game works, so I don't need no cheats. Promise I'll fight to the death, cause we don't take defeat. Hey, shout out all my niggas from the sandbox. Pops are too deep out in the field like it's the Red Sox. I hit the booth to get some shit up on my chest off. You gotta really sit and listen to me like a TED Talk. Wait, let me get it going, let me get it started. It's just me and all my dogs, nigga, me and Marley. Say it every time in every song that I don't sleep hardly. I was young, jumping off the couch watching Jeff Hardy. Chillin' at the crib cause I don't do parties. Hey, looking for the ribs, I need a new Barbie. I'm turning nothing into something like I'm Steve Harvey. Just don't do that shit again, don't wanna hear sorry. I'm just speaking how I feel and I don't even write the songs. If I ever sign a deal, I'm giving half away to mom. Keep the law, I'm living right, but every day I'm feeling wrong. Bro, like we're doing new shit.
You know, that are godly, that are God inspired.
Stick to the 66.
I'm a 66 guy, yes.
I got you. Right, so the last book of the Old Testament was Malachi, right?
Correct.
So from that period of Malachi, right, or that captivity, all of a sudden in Matthew, now we find the Israelites in the Greco-Roman captivity, right?
Yes.
Right. So there was a gap that happened between that period, right?
Correct.
So you said you're familiar with the Maccabees then, right? So the Greco-Roman war against the nation of Israel, right?
Right.
So the only reason why we see that the Jews were under the Greco-Romans at that time, right? Obviously the Greek Empire rose up after Alexander the Great.
By the way, I thought it was just the Greeks at that particular time. Like Antiochus' fourth Epiphanes.
Yes, at that time in the Maccabees, but I was referring to Matthew the King. At that time, now we're in the Roman Empire.
It was the Romans, yeah.
Yeah, because after Greek, then the Romans came in, right?
Right.
They at the end of their empire, the Romans rose up, Caesar, Pilate, all them, right? So we have the Greeks over there at that time, right? If you're familiar, right? It was illegal for you to call yourself a Jew. The nation of Israel assimilated themselves. A lot of them assimilated themselves into the Greek Empire. They started calling themselves Greek names. They completely fell out of Jewry. They were forbidden them. If you open the Torah, they would kill you, right? So a lot of these people, thank you very much. A lot of them out of fear of reading the Maccabees, first and second Maccabees, they completely gave up on Jewry. They assimilated themselves out of survival. They were just trying to survive in the empire that they were in. I get it, right? There were a bunch of Jews that didn't though. They died being Jews. They kept Torah. They kept laws. They fought it to the end. And as through history, we can see they lost. The nation of Israel lost against the Greco-Roman Empire, right? That's why we see the Jews with Jesus Christ in Nazareth, Bethlehem. They're all in poverty. They're all in the poorest ghettos of Rome, right? Just like how we see today, the poorest people in the ghettos are us. But while they have mansions and skyscrapers and high-rises, yachts and vacation homes, right? We're in the ghettos and all this other stuff.
I don't mean to be contrary, but Joseph of Arimathea was a wealthy man. Joseph of Arimathea.
Okay, yeah. So I was saying, I'm pretty sure there was wealthy people here and there, predominantly the whole category though. They were poverty. They were servants, right? We had masters at that time. That's why it says, be a good servant to your master. Agree with your adversary if they tell you to go over. There was lots of advice and laws that Jesus and the apostles told the other Jews while being under this captivity, right? Because obviously who was in power? The Romans, right? Caesar, the whole Roman Empire. The world power at that time was Rome, right? We were under them. We were subjugated to them, right? So, as if we can see today, if we can relate it to today, we have somebody in power here in the United States. We have a man, we have a town, we have armies, we have generals, we have commanders, we have the same thing. Everything that we get today here in America, a lot of it came from the Roman Empire. We still have the judicial systems, the same thing, the structures, architecture, right? Everything, the money, coins, right? Even the word democracy, that comes from the Greek Empire. Democracy is a Greek thing, right?
The Senate.
Yeah, exactly. All that is, right? So, what I'm getting down to the point now, right? So, our armies today, and this is about, like, historically, you can find this anywhere, right? Just like how we have all different races part of the army today, it was the same thing back then. Right. So, I just wanted to read one. I have two scriptures, but I wanted to read this article real quick. Right? It's just like 3 sentences, right? So I'm not gonna do it too long. I know I'm already talking a lot, right? So this is an article of PhD Andrew Schofield, right? This article is called "The Sons of Israel in Caesar's Service: The Jewish Soldiers of the Roman Military." Right? It says, the mainly result of lack of recognition on the part of scholars who wish to use rabbinic sources for the benchmark of Jewish practice in the imperial age. It is very difficult to identify Jewish soldiers, mainly because they have adopted Greek and Latin names, unless they have specifically identified themselves as Jews according to the inscriptions at the synagogues, right? So historically, we see through the Maccabees, through that time period, we know that Jews dropped their Jewry and picked up Greco-Roman attributes, languages, idols, right? They were praying to Athens and Corinthians, they were praying to the Greek idols and all this, Apollo and all this. Right. They assimilated themselves through the culture of Greek, right? They grew up Greek, right? So, yeah, Paul and Peter, right? When they started saying you must be Apollos, you must be woo, right? Right? This is the reason they left Jewry and they adopted the Greco-Roman mindset, right? And the group, that's all they knew, right? So now, if you could go to Acts chapter 10, right? Hold on. Actually, hold on. Watch this. Acts verse 7. Hold that and to get this first. Acts 18 and 24. Hold on.
18 and 24?
Yes, sir.
Look at Acts chapter 18.
And a certain Jew named Apollos.
Are y'all back for sure?
Okay, watch this, right? Verse 18 and 1. Sorry, 18 and 1.
The book of Acts chapter 18 verse 1.
Bring it out. Wait until he's there. Go ahead. Go ahead.
After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth.
Right.
Verse 2. And found a certain Jew named Aquila.
Jews. Wait, keep going.
Born in Pontus. Lately come from Italy.
From Italy. There were Jews in Italy, right? Go ahead.
With his wife Priscilla. Because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome and came unto them.
So there's Jews in Rome and Italy, right? These people, they were Priscilla, Claudius. These are Greek words, but they were Jews, right? Now go back to Acts chapter 10.
But they said they were part of the Italian band.
So you're right. But now we got to tie that in with Acts chapter 10, right? He was like, even Apollos, right? Now Acts chapter 10. Go ahead.
The book of Acts chapter 10 and verse 1.
Let's wait for the brother to get there.
Right.
They're perfect. All right.
Acts 10 and 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea,
right? Which is a town in Israel.
Called Cornelius,
a
centurion of the band of the Italian band.
The Italian band, right? So he was a general. He was a centurion, a high-ranking general over Roman soldiers.
Right.
He was from Caesarea, right? And it says when you keep reading down, all his family were from Caesarea too. Go ahead. Matter of fact, if you got that, bring that. It's like later down in Acts 10 and I think 24.
Well, it doesn't say that it says there was a certain man in Caesarea. So that might have been his outpost.
I got you. Hold that and see if you agree after this. Go ahead.
Verse 24. And the morrow after they entered into Caesarea.
I'm sorry, which verse is this?
24. It's like, and Cornelius waited for them and had called together his kinsmen and near friends.
All his family and relatives and friends were from Caesarea.
Right.
Grew up there. So this is a city in Israel, right, where Jews dwell, right? And why is it got turned? That town got changed to Caesarea. Before it wasn't called Caesarea; it was Israel. It was still Judea.
That's right.
So Caesar took over as the power, as a commander, as a king and ruler, and dominated and established that place as Caesarea. I'm taking it over. You're now called Caesarea. You guys, and I want you working in my heart.
I think that. So Pontius Pilate.
Correct.
I wouldn't be surprised if, while he was there in Judea, in Jerusalem, as his wife. Well, we know his wife was there. We know that because his wife was the one that had to go. I wouldn't be surprised if he had his other family there. And if he's going to be there for a few years, he doesn't know how long he's going to have his family. Like, for example, my wife grew up for about maybe 5-6 years in Okinawa, Japan. but she's not Japanese.
Right.
But that's where her father is stationed, and her father was in the United States Air Force.
Right. I see what you're saying, right? So,
No,
But the reason why I think that he was definitely a Gentile is because of the vision that God gave Peter of all those unclean meats.
right.
And Peter said, I'm not gonna eat anything. Yeah.
He still did it.
And God said, do not call common. Don't, yeah. And so I believe, and then it was right after those visions that happened twice, out of the mouths of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. So that confirmed it. Twice I'm telling you this to let you know this is the word of God.
Yeah.
And then right after that, he gets the knock on the door from one of Cornelius' servants, and it's pretty much saying, go, because we know that Peter had an issue with Gentiles because he didn't want to sit with them. Remember when the other guys from Jerusalem came, and then Peter started acting funny? Why would you do that if these were actually Israelites? They were not.
Because I had told you whether they became Gentiles, so they assimilated themselves.
Right.
They left Jewry. They're not circumcised. They're the uncircumcised.
Right.
That become uncircumcised.
I just put my hand up so it be respectful.
So they were uncircumcised. They grew like, and also that's what you said. It's literally going along with what I'm saying. They grew up the Greek. They grew up being in Caesarea. They grew up being assimilated to one of them. They were not a Jew. These guys, Peter and all them, they were Jews. They're Hebrews. They grew up on it. They never left. It's the same as the prodigal son and all that. He stayed in Jewry, while the other one went to go live amongst all the other people and do what they did. When they come back, but they're still our brothers. All these parables tie into each other. The uncircumcised, he was a Gentile, correct? He grew up as a Gentile. He was a Gentile. But the reason was, he said, don't call him unclean. Why? Because I made him clean. He was an Israelite. He was a Jew. He was born clean. Don't call him unclean.
Right.
Don't call him unclean and common when I made not common.
Exactly.
That man is an Israelite.
So
That's his problem, even if he is a Gentile and uncircumcised, right? Because as for my brothers right here, I don't want to be too vulgar, man, but every one of my brothers up here are circumcised except myself, right? That would make me a Gentile, right? And all these other guys aren't, right? I'm currently on my way to go get that done. Technically, I'm the uncircumcised. I'm that Gentile, right?
Yeah, which Paul said in the New Testament that that's no longer required. But yeah, go ahead, because I'm probably going to take off soon. But I want to. But I really enjoy talking about the Word of God, and I really like talking with Hebrew Israelites because they actually study the Word. I talk with evangelicals, and this is what they do: they shut down.
right, yeah.
They shut down because they don't know, and so they won't even discuss with you.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, I wanted to show you some, like, just a little bit of history from this man that wrote this book. I think in the 60s or 70s, but it's a little history on Negro Jews, like a little bit more something outside the Bible. This is not the only thing that speaks on it, but this is a main thing that a lot of people have read to expose the Negro Jews, because it goes along with what he was saying, right? Read this is from a book called From Babylon to Timbuktu.
I got that book. I'm gonna show you
Just the yellow
picture,
book.
right? That's the Babylon.
I got that book.
Right?
And that's an excerpt. Yeah, that's an excerpt out of the source of this book, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna read a paragraph out of this source, right?
And this is something that's confirmed by history too. So it goes along with what we were saying with Cornelius. Like I said, you can look more into it. We don't gotta convince you, but it'll line up. Go ahead. Because like he said, Caesarea was in the land of Israel. Said that he went around his kinspeople. History said the people that inhabited that Israel as a predominant people at that time, like more than 70%, more than 80%, they were Jews living there at that time. Right. Jews and a small portion of the Samaritans, which were Northern Kingdom Israelites that got left behind. Because they split up. One went to Arzareth, which we found out Arzareth in the Jewish Encyclopedia says that the Northern Kingdom came to America. And that's what the Jewish Encyclopedia says. And it's written in the book of 2nd Ezra when that happened. And then the rest that stayed back, why it only talks about the Southern Kingdom with Christ is because that was the ones that stayed back, right? So read this real quick.
Right. So in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem in 70 AD.
Right, 70 AD. So right here in Acts, where we had read about.
Wait, no. That would be. You said 65 BC, Pompey, because 70 AD, Pompey's
It's a
dead.
different time. They're different times.
Julius Caesar killed Pompey.
Yeah, yeah. So one's before and then one's at 45.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
Julius Caesar's, but 70 AD is when when the temple was destroyed and the Roman, that was it.
Exactly.
They scattered. They even changed the name of the city. They changed the name of the city to a different name. And
Exactly.
everything.
So when we read about Acts right here with Cornelius, this is prior to 70 AD. This
Right.
is
This is probably
anywhere between 20 years before that or so, right?
Okay.
So this is prior to 70 AD.
Most likely.
Let's see what it says happened in 70 AD and what came out of Israel. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because I read that wrong. Right? I'm gonna read it with the period. I didn't see the period. It says, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem.
Yep. So they took over Jerusalem.
Right.
So Jerusalem was pretty much being ran by Rome, just like how America runs Puerto Rico. Go ahead.
In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state.
They put it into the Jewish state and what? What happened?
With great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people.
Right.
During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing Rome.
1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing Rome, and what?
Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
Black Jews. So 1 million black Jews left Israel in 70 AD. So let's do the math here. 20, 30 years prior, we got Cornelius being head of the Italian band. He said he went and was talking to his family and his close friends. The predominant race over there were black people, as we just seen with history. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, we can leave room for speculation. He might be, but if we look at the historically and the statistics line up more on him being more of a black man.
Right.
It's just like if I was enlisted in the army right now.
I have no issue with that.
It's not the main thing. Like, but that's
I
just
mean,
something to answer your question.
I think in our society they always show pictures of Jesus looking a certain way and stuff, and like I think it's just almost like propaganda.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even understand that.
Yeah, iconoclasm. Yeah, and just like in Russia has the image of Christ that is the most accurate looking one.
Right.
The short curly hair Negro. Russia has that. They unveiled it, and everybody was like,
one of the original church founders are like at the beginning of the church is Simon Niger.
Simon. Oh yeah.
There's a guy named Simon Niger, like right there. It's hard for me to believe that a man with the last name Niger, Nigeria, the Niger River, the country of Niger,
The Greek word for
Niger,
Niger,
French and Niger.
And that's even in the Bible.
I'm like, man,
That's
I don't know if he was a Jew or not, but Simon Niger, I probably. So I think like you look at Moses, and his sister Miriam and his brother Aaron did a hard time. It says very clearly that he's from a very Ethiopian woman. It said it twice in the same verse. So I think that in that part of the world, you're just not going to, just like if you go to LA, I grew up in LA, there are a lot of Hispanics in LA. But it's just where you're located, that's just a natural thing that's going to happen because you're so close to Mexico. I think Israel is so close to Africa that you're naturally going to have. Well, they call it the Middle East because it's right there. But you can almost, it's right, it's so close when you look at it on the map. So I don't have an issue with that. What I do have an issue with is, I do believe that God wants, He created all of us. And the Bible says for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. So people love the world. It says that it's His desire that all men be saved. He said, to all the world, and preach the gospel to every creature. And then I also have an issue with the whole virgin birthday because I think that the Bible is very clear on that.
Yeah, we can set that up.
Like I said, you just keep studying, and I live here now. Yeah, I've lived here for the last 17 years, but I grew up in LA.
If we could get your information, that would be amazing. I was about to say, we had a lovely conversation, man.
Yeah, sure.
Thank both of you guys so much for your time.
Yeah.
We can actually set up like an online conversation about the virgin birth, respectfully too. Like,
Yeah.
We can continue this because this is great.
Yeah, this is a very great, respectful conversation we have, man. I appreciate it too, man. Because a lot of people start shouting at us and stuff, man. And then we get made look at like the bad guy and stuff. Yeah.
Romans chapter 1 says that, like, it talks about debate, like a spirit of debate as though it's a bad thing. So I try to explain and share, and I don't try to debate, because that's not the purpose.
I wanted to ask. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, what did you want? You wanted my email?
You can put in an email, phone number, whatever it is that you would like, and we can communicate with you and set something on. Yeah. But yeah, what I was gonna say about like not wanting to debate. Now you're actually one of the most respectful Christians that we've actually ever talked to.
Man, bro.
We are actually having a dialogue, actually having a conversation without anybody shouting over each other, and actually disrespecting or anything. Like and that is something that we really appreciate with you, brother.
I wanted to ask too.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
I wanted to ask too, like not saying like of course like not that you guys are focusing on it, but I was gonna ask. You know what like tribe of like Samoans that you come from? It's gonna go along with what I'm asking though. Like who your ancestry goes back to as far as Samoa. The reason why I asked, right, is because like we said, we don't judge by the skin or anything like that. I just recently found out, right? So like how we said, like with the Israelites and the Hebrews, Hebrew Israelites aren't the only Hebrews. There's Hebrew Edomites, there's Hebrew Moabites. Like the Moabites are considered the ancients in the Bible, right? And Hebrew Edomites are the Europeans. But the reason why I said that is because I just found out that just like I said, we were scattered amongst all nations. Have you ever heard of the Ainu people? So there's a group in Japan called the Ainu people who have Negro features, but they look a lot like your wife. Right. They look a lot like your wife, right? And what I'm saying is like you see most Japanese people, they have that pale skin, they don't have like the Negro features like her. She has more of like closer to our features. Right. The Ainu people.
When I first saw her, I actually thought she was black and mixed.
That's
when
what
I first saw her. I met her. We've been together married 25 years.
Oh, beautiful.
We met in college. I had a Christian fellowship actually.
Beautiful.
I was at this Christian fellowship. They got me to go. So I wasn't even a Christian back then. I just wanted to go because I didn't know anybody, and they said they got free food and stuff. This was way back in 1996.
Okay.
And she walked in because I was like, I grew up in England, so I wasn't used to talking to non-black girls back then. I've only been around blacks and Hispanics. I grew up in Compton and Inglewood, so there were only two people in Compton, really, blacks and Hispanics. We got to Inglewood, there were a few others, but pretty much all black Hispanics. So I wasn't used to anything. So when I went to the Christian fellowship, I didn't have a girlfriend, so I'm looking at the girls. I don't think that way. I don't think flesh is like
no,
that.
No, you good.
But
good.
Listen, I'm like 18 years old. I was 19 years old.
God aligned you to go and meet this woman.
And so I'm looking, I'm like, they got no sister. There was one sister there, but she was like, really like, not
together. Yeah, she was not.
Then she walked in, and I was like, finally a sister. And then I found out later, she was like, he brought
the right sister for you, man. That's right. The reason why I said that, right, is because the Ainu people, right, now the Japanese are, by the majority, are Ammonites, right? But the Ainu people are more than likely Israelites. They are the only Japanese tribe out of all of those Japanese people. They're the only ones that went through slavery and got outskirted by the rest of the Japanese. So they were pushed away by the rest of their people. But that's what we were saying. When we look at history and different cultures, because we don't just look at the Bible. Just like how in Africa, the West Africans, they were sold by East and South Africans to white people. So there's groups of people within, like how the Lord said he was going to scatter Israel and the curses were going to fall on them. Slavery, them being outskirted, people treating them wrong, them being pretty much hunted by people. Just like how we look at these people in Japan, those are more than likely Israelites. They go through all those curses. So that's what I was saying. We can't just look at, oh, this person is this or their skin. We got to really test the spirit, and we got to look at their ancestral history. That's why I was asking, like, if you can even look at that and see who you go back to, like That's what I'm saying. Nobody, we don't know for sure if we're Israelites. We do for the most part, as far as we have the spirit. We're coming up here doing what most people don't do, but nobody's gonna know until that day comes.
Are you guys a part of a congregation? Do you guys meet regularly, or?
Yeah, this is our congregation. Yeah,
Okay.
This is our congregation.
Okay. Do you guys? I know this is. I would consider this like evangelism. Do you guys also just have regular fellowship?
Yeah, we go to we share at people's churches if they allow us to talk and stuff. Like you say, we're real respectful. We come in, we share our testimony or the things that we can show in the scripture, just like we have it now. And yeah, we'll go anywhere, honestly.
Okay, well, you know what, man? This is our church. It's very small.
Okay.
But you guys are welcome. I don't have any flyers, but you can give me a call if you're ever interested in coming by. We would love to have you
Definitely,
guys.
brother. We can
It's a pleasure meeting all of you guys.
You too, brother. You guys
Yep.
have a beautiful
All right.
rest of your day, man.
Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you too, sister.
Have a good day, man.
God bless you. Keep striving for the truth, man.
Hey, brother, we don't have any flyers out today too, but that's our YouTube. Just for whatever reason,
All right.
You guys can get a hold of us out there as well.
All right.
All right, brother.
Take care.
You have a good day, all right? And with that,